What's up, y'all? So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a tutorial. This is a bit of a different video than usual, if I might say. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up and play the sort of fan-made or modded or kind of remaster of Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. Basically a fan-made port of 358 over 2 days for PC. And I'm going to show you guys how to set everything up, how to configure it, and get the best possible version of 350 over 2 days that is playable with a controller. So what you're gonna do first, you're gonna need to download a couple things. Now the first thing you're gonna need to download is this right here. You're gonna go to the link that I provided in the description. This is a GitHub page from where you download this modded version of the Melon DS emulator, which is originally a emulator for the Nintendo DS for PC. Now you go to this page, you scroll down a bit, and you find here the assets part. And what you're gonna do if you are on Windows, which I assume most of you guys are, you're gonna download the Melon Mix Windows x86 64 zip. Melon Mix Windows. So this one that the size is 15.3 megabytes. So this one right here, you're gonna need to download that. And that is pretty much it. That's all you need to do on this website. Now, after you download that, you can close this out, and you can go to the zip file. It's going to be in a zip file, and you're going to open it. I'm going to extract it really quick. Just there we go. Let me extract it. There we go. Okay. So now that you have that extracted, you are not done. What you're going to do next is you're going to create a new folder wherever you want this whole thing to be. And I'm going to name it Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. Like this. I messed up. There we go. And now you're going to open this folder and you're going to place the Melon DS thing in here. And after that, you're going to go into your NDS file that you downloaded. The ROM, and now you're going to extract that as well into this folder that you just made. It's going to take a little bit to complete. While this is oh, it's already done. I was going to talk about something else, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Now that you have this in here as well, what you're going to need to do is you're simply going to create another folder here in the Hearts 358 today's folder that I made. Now you're going to create another folder and just title it ROMs. And then you're going to take your ROM thing that you have here, you're going to rename it, and you're going to name it game, and you're going to leave the .nds untouched. So it's basically says game.nds, and you're going to move this nds file to the ROMs folder. Okay, so I made an error. I did not mean to name this folder ROMs. It's supposed to be named ROM, like ROM as in single. So it's not supposed to be ROMs, but rather ROM. And now you're going to launch the emulator. There we go. Okay, now we're not done yet. Let me just go ahead and mute the game here real quick so that we don't have it doesn't interrupt me while I'm explaining this. So now you can see we are in the game, but we're not done with configuring everything yet. So what you're gonna do first is you're gonna go into the config tab. You're gonna go to the emulation settings. Now here, you can put in a BIOS. I think you completely don't need to do this. This is completely unnecessary. So I wouldn't even touch the EMU settings tab, but the input and hotkeys tab is the one that matters. Now here, it depends on what controller you are using, because you're going to be using a controller. You're likely not going to be playing this on a keyboard, let's be honest. So now you're going to connect your controller. I have my PlayStation 4 controller connected. It should recognize it right now. I don't know why it's not. For some reason, it's not recognizing my controller, which is great. There it is. Okay, now you're going to do the mapping process for your controller. So let's go ahead and do that. L is for me L1 on my PS4 controller, R1. So you basically keep clicking all of these and keep assigning them to the buttons right here. Click down, there we go. Right, and now for select, I'm gonna click share. So it's gonna be options, And let's go ahead, and this is going to be X, this is going to be square, this is going to be circle, and this is going to be triangle. So that's the process of that. Now, a couple more things that you're going to do here. That one thing that you absolutely don't need to do, but one thing that I highly recommend is go into the general hotkeys tab and go into the joystick mappings, or no, keyboard mappings, I'm sorry. And now you find the option that says toggle full screen. You're going to see why in a little bit, and bind it to any button on your keyboard that you want. I'm going to use F11 because that's the usual full screen thing on keyboards. So I'm just going to bind this to F11. And now you're going to go to the touchscreen tab. This was pretty important too. So as for the touchscreen tab, you see this joystick mappings tab right here on the right. That's what you're going to be focusing on, not the keyboard ones this time. So for this touchscreen tab is basically going to be allowing you to bind your camera rotation to basically be controlled with the right analog stick of your controller. So basically just map this out. Left, take your right analog stick, push it to the left, right, like this, and then up like this, and then down like this. There we go. And finally, you're going to go to the command menu tab, go back to joystick mappings again, and you're going to map the command menu to your D-pad. So this is going to be left, this is going to be right, this is going to be up, and this is going to be down. Now, to repeat, this is mapped to the D-pad on your controller, this is mapped to the right analog stick, these are the camera controls, and right here are the flip part. The D-pad of the DS itself is mapped to my left analog stick on my PS4 controller. This is completely up to personal preference. You don't have to do this exactly how I did. This is just how I like having it set up. And after you're done that, click OK. And you're also going to do a couple more things here. Video settings. You're going to go into your video settings. Now here, this is the part that makes the game look really good. Now, it depends on your this part depends on your computer specs and everything. Now, I have a decent computer. It's a bit dated at this point, but at least for this, it's completely fine. For running an emulated DS game, it's completely fine. So I'm gonna put up my specs on screen right now for comparison, and then you can figure out if you can run it on a lower resolution, or you can run it on the max resolution that I'm going to do here. But yeah, basically all this depends on your computer specs. If you don't know what to do, go ahead and maybe tweak around some of these resolutions. You can upscale this to 16 times the native resolution, which is what I'm going to do because I can handle that. But otherwise, if your computer can't handle this, just go ahead and experiment a little bit with them, and then find the one that suits you the best. Now, I'm gonna also improve the polygon splitting. I think this is so that you have less pixelated visuals. I think if you have this off the screen, the game appears a little bit more pixelated. I believe that's the case. Don't quote me on that. If you know a little bit better about that, leave it in the comments down below. Other than these two, I would also, because if you binded the full screen thing, please game, don't go away. Okay, so if you binded the full screen thing, I would also recommend clicking the launch in full screen if you binded your full screen to F11 like I did. Otherwise, I don't recommend it because you're going to be stuck in full screen and it's going to be a pain. Trust me, it's happened to me today. Also, one more thing. The 3D render setting is something you should not touch. If you switch from OpenGL to software, it's going to crash. The emulator is just going to die. So I definitely advise you to not touch this section right here. Okay. Now that we're done with the video settings, also, I do think that for some of these settings, you're going to need to restart the emulator. I'm not sure for which ones, though, off the top of my head. Also, one thing I noticed in the audio section here that I just went to, the game is a little bit too loud. It was a little bit too loud for me, so you can just turn it down here. I did mute the audio just so that I can talk over and everything, so I'm just going to turn the volume right about there. That's how I like it usually. This part you don't really need to touch. Interpretation, you can tweak around a little bit with this stuff. I don't personally like it. I just like having it at default. This is also something I like to leave it automatic. Again, you can tweak a little bit with it, but it's not really, I didn't notice that much of a difference, and if I did, it wasn't really overly positive. I just prefer to have it on automatic. This time here, I'm going to go to the aspect ratio tab. Now for this, I prefer, okay, please, no, there we go. For the aspect ratio tab, where it is, it's right here. For the aspect ratio tab, what I like to do is having it to top window and bottom window like this. Screen, this stuff I didn't really touch. And also, do not disable the frame limiter because the game is gonna basically look like it's on crack, so I don't recommend it. Also here, screen sizing, I don't touch this either. Aspect ratio, just like I said. Layout is gonna stay horizontal, and screen gap, nothing. I don't touch these. No. Screen size, not at all. And I think that's essentially it. And now if I hit F11 like I showed you, now you guys are seeing a black screen because, okay, it's back. So now that we are in full screen, let's go ahead and demonstrate this, guys. So click story mode. Oops, there we go. New game. And I'm going to start a random standard mode. Difficulty doesn't really matter because this is just for test purposes. I'm going to skip all of this. And I'm going to get back to you guys once we are in the game. So here we are in the game now. As you can see, the game looks a lot better. If you played it on the DS back in the day, this looks many times better than the original. As you can see, the freaking, what's it called, minimap is up there in the top right corner, unlike on the DS. And also a big change is the menu. The menu, you now have, it's separated. You have the main menu part on the left. You have the stats and abilities. Okay, wrong button. You have the stats and abilities on the right, so you can switch between those. And also one more thing I like to do here, I like to, let me just configure this real quick so I don't forget later. Go into the config tab, and I like to have the camera x-axis inverted. That's just my personal preference. Again, completely optional. And now I'm going to exit out this menu. There we go. Okay. So now, this is basically it. Now you're playing this sort of fan-made kind of remaster port, whatever you want to call it, of 315 Over 2 Days. Huge shout out to Vitter, or Vitter, whatever your name is. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm so sorry. But huge shout out to you, man, for making this mod. This is absolutely amazing. And this is a really big step towards the remake of 315 Over 2 Days that we never got. This is hands down, in my opinion, the best way to enjoy Days and to actually experience it, because I know it's not the most fun thing playing on a Nintendo DS, let's be honest. Okay, one more thing, guys, before I go, that I want to show you real quick, is that the saving of your progress, saving the game, is completely functional. So basically, just like in the normal game, you just go into the menu, you hit save, and it basically works. And I'm going to show you now, guys. I'm going to demonstrate it for y'all on video here. I'll be right back on the menu screen. Okay, so here we are back on the menu screen. And just to show that the save feature does in fact work, we're going to story mode, continue, and you guys can see my save file that I just made. And that's basically it. You load, just like this. And now you are on the day that you saved on. In my case, at the beginning of the game, it's day 7. And here we are. But this is basically it. That's it. That's how you set up the 350 Over 2 Days experience on PC. And you can fully play the game. Everything works. It's alright. If you have any questions, anything you want to share with me, leave it in the comments. Any problems that you're having, leave it in the comments. I'll figure out a way to solve all that. And that is essentially it. And until the next video stream, thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.